Assembly will hear an address by His Excellency Gustavo Petro Urrego, President of the Republic of Colombia. I request protocol to escort His Excellency and invite him to address the Assembly. My daughter, Antonella Petro, has just sent me a paragraph, and she wanted me to begin my speech with that paragraph. So with your indulgence, I will read it. It is a paragraph written by a child of 15, 16 years old, and it reads as follows. Today I am proud to appear before you as the President of the Heart of the Earth. That is how our indigenous people on the Sierra Nevada defined my beautiful country. Geographically speaking, what they said is logical, and it's logical that we call ourselves the heart of the world. However, if we are the heart, we have to set an example of unity, total peace, and preservation, conservation of nature. If a heart works and beats, that's a great step forward. However, all other parts of the human body are important. If one fails, the rest will follow. As such, from the heart of the earth, we now invite all countries to have their conscience piqued, to stand up and leave aside the greed that is killing human beings and Mother Earth. We invite you all to take a step towards total peace. My daughter is in those paragraphs. Those are her orders. Please take heed. Ladies and gentlemen, presidents of the world, in this very house, the ability of a president to communicate depends on how many dollars he has in his budget. It depends on how many warplanes he has. And ultimately, it depends on the clout that his country has and its ability to destroy humankind. The power of a country in the world is no longer exercised by the type of economic or political system it has or its ideology, but power is wielded according to how much capacity one has to destroy humankind. There is this power of destruction, but who are important are those who really have the power to sustain life. We speak, but we're often not listened to. And sometimes perhaps the only people listening to those of us that want to sustain life are our own peoples. That's why we're not listened to when we speak out for the genocide in Gaza to be detained, even though we do speak for the majority of the world and we represent vast swathes of humankind. However, nevertheless, we're not listened to. A small minority of presidents that are able to stop the bloodshed but they're not listened to. And we're not listened to by the presidents that can destroy humankind. We ask them to swap debt for climate change spending, but we're not listened to. If we ask for war to stop so that we can concentrate on the expeditious transformation of the global economy so that we can save the very human species, we're not listened to either then. The power to destroy life is the power that allows voices to reverberate throughout the United Nations House, and it's that destructive power that gives convening power to representatives. The voice of nations is not heard when we ask humankind to unite to preserve existence. We speak here, but we're not listened to. However, perhaps we're not really speaking any longer to be listened to. We need to speak so that the peoples of the world are listening. That's now what we're interested in. In the last year, 11 million hectares on the Amazon jungle have been burned in only actually 1 month as a result of global warming and climate change. Scientists said that if we were to burn the Amazon rainforest, we would reach a point of no return in climate terms, where human decisions to halt the collapse of the climate would now have no effect whatsoever. Well, the Amazon rainforest is burning. Bells are already tolling for the whole planet. Bells are tolling for you, for us, for humankind and life. That was said by Ernest Hemingway, "The bell tolls for thee." Bells are not only tolling for you, but for all of life. The end has begun. A year ago, I called for a conference for peace on Palestine at this very rostrum. But the first bomb yet had not been dropped. Now 20,000 boys and girls have been killed under the bombs. And the presidents of the countries of human destruction are laughing in these very corridors with the help of mass media that today are the owners of major capital. They are reordering a world, and they're creating a world without democracy and without freedom. The democratic project of humankind is dying along with life, while at the same time, racists, supremacists, those who stupidly believe that the Aryan race is the superior race are getting ready to dominate the world, brandishing the threat of bombs and terror over human beings. The control of humankind on the very foundations of barbarism is being built. And that is being played out in Gaza, Lebanon. When Gaza dies, humanity will die, the whole of humanity. The people of God was not the people of Israel, it would seem. It is not the people of the USA. Rather, the people of God is humankind as one. The children of Gaza, they were humankind, the chosen people of God. They are killing God's chosen people, the children of our very humankind. There is one reason for this contemporary Armageddon. In the senselessness of governments that applaud genocides, governments that don't act to change economies and decarbonize them. There is a logic behind all of this. It's not politics or this atrium where all presidents speak. That logic, that rationale lies outside, and it's called social inequality. Oxfam says that the richest 1% of humankind has more wealth than 95% of all humankind combined. It is in that level of inequality where the best of our history lies. That is where the logic of mass destruction lies. Destruction that's been unleashed by climate change, the logic of bombs. Netanyahu, as a criminal, is letting those bombs raise down on Gaza. Netanyahu is a hero for the richest 1% of humankind because he's able to demonstrate that people can destroy themselves with bombs. If wealth is measured in CO2 issued and not in dollars, we have the answer. The richest 1% of humankind is responsible for the climate change, which is gaining ground and is getting ready to destroy the world with oil and carbon, because that is how the world grows rich. The politicians, including the presidents of the most powerful countries of earth, quite simply obey them. They pay their campaigns. They are the owners of the means of communication, the global media. They are those who conceal the truth of science. Like we see in the film Don't Look Up. They are the people who decide what is thought, what is said, what should be forbidden, and what should be silenced. In their power to prohibit and to ban, they scream, "Long live liberty!" But what they're talking about is nothing more than the freedom of the global 1%. They are obsessed with the free market, and that obsession brings us to the destruction of life and our atmosphere. The free market wasn't freedom, as they claimed it would be. Rather, what it meant was the maximization of death. The richest 1% of humankind is the powerful global oligarchy. They are the people who allow us to drop bombs on women, elderly people, and the children of Gaza, Lebanon, or Sudan. They impose economic blockades on rebel countries, countries that don't yield to their domination, Cuba, Venezuela, because they need to demonstrate their destructive capacity to the remaining 99% of humankind so that they let them continue to wield power, continue to grow their wealth, and continue to tighten their control. This oligarchy is bringing humankind to the very brink of its own destruction. Politics just nods its head at them. They ignore the fact that people need freedom, people have power. They ignore the idea of democracy. The question we need to ask from this rostrum is, will the people allow this to continue? There is no more time to waste. Governments are incapable of halting the extinction of human life. Life indeed. Today we need to choose between life or greed, between humankind or capital. All I can say to the people of the world, as a representative of a country without weapons of mass destruction, without dollars, but a country that is beautiful in its biodiversity and cultural wealth, a country that's the country of butterflies of all colours, all I can say to you that now is not the moment for governments, it's the time of our people. Time has run out. Let us fly the flag of life, or our people will fill up mass graves. This was revealed to us by the epidemic. The time has come for people to act. Local action needs to be taken. Globally, we need to come together. Fossil fuel capital cannot continue. People must stop the rising tide of capital. The poison thrown into the atmosphere is lethal, and the chimneys that belch it out must be plugged. Every corner of the world can be a battle against those chimneys. A century ago, we raised a red flag that was held by the hands of the workers of the world. They talked about a revolution against capital. This world has ended. It is no more. It was lost in the largeness, the enormity of states. The red flag could no longer find a place in the history of humankind. However, today, we no longer need to defend a class, a system of ideas, but we need to defend life as a whole. And with that goal in mind, we need to lift up another flag, maybe not a red flag, but a flag of all colors, a flag of the colors of all of humankind. That's why that flag needs to be lifted once more, so that our existence on Mother Earth can be protected. There is the word, socialism. Today it has a new meaning. The brains that are really behind our work are today more connected now than ever before. Human knowledge is more collective than ever before. Let us always revive that magic, that thinking that has allowed us to survive. Individuals are weak alone, and they'll end up being taken over by fentanyl and defeat if they act individually. People are strong if they help each other. And this mutual assistance can mean that we can go global. Mutual assistance, collectively building knowledge, humankind as a new political subject, all of that is the basis by which we give new meaning to the word socialism. We are more advanced than we've ever been. We are at the forefront of intelligent life. Intelligent life must defend itself and defend other lives from a global oligarchy who wields its weapons to destroy that life. New wealth needs to be built, wealth no longer based on oil. but rather on the intensity of free creative work that itself will produce and will allow us make progress even with AI. But that AI does need to be controlled at a global level with public power. Productivity allows us to have creative free time. It allows human brains to come together. And coming together, human brains can achieve more. That network of humanity's neurons is what will allow us to vanquish with our flag held high. That is the flag of life. Now, I'm not really talking to Biden, Macron, Schultz, Xi Jinping, or Putin. But from China, I have the idea of a dialogue between civilizations. From Europe, I've taken the idea of its social compact. From the United States, I've taken its love of its original democracy, the democracy of its founding fathers. From South America, I've taken its diversity. It's jockey on a horse. It's Simon Bolivar. From Africa, I've taken their drums, the drums that summon us to communicate with the spirits of nature. Jesus. From Jesus, I've taken the idea of universal love, light giving life. I've taken all of these civilizational forces that lie within all the peoples of the world. We need to bring them together and draw from them the strength that we need to wage the greatest battle in humankind's history. That battle is, and about this there can be no doubt, a global revolution. We need to build the largest army ever seen, with spaces for warriors for life, men and women. This global army for life will not have weapons from the global oligarchy. It will not have nuclear weapons. It will not compete for weapons. Neither will it have the full coffers and vaults of banks. Neither will it have the power to destroy children in the genocides waged by oligarchies, but it will have the greatest power of us all. That is the power of a humankind that is united and will not allow its very existence to be torn from it. There is only one. There have been millions and millions of light years, and there's only one point we can see in the black universe. That is Earth. There is human life, intelligent life, humankind. We can't let that one light in the universe go out. Without life, all we'll have is inert darkness. And that inert darkness is what fills the hearts and soul of the global oligarchy and its idols. It is now up to humankind to wage a battle. The time has come for the people. If the governments were not able, as has been made patently clear here, to work, and they decided to drop bombs, wage senseless wars, kill boys and girls, play games of power, well, if that's what they chose to do, now what we need to do is solve humankind's problem by putting them in the very hands of the people themselves, the simple, noble people of humankind. Instead of speaking to governing officials that heed nothing that we say, let us speak to ourselves as people. Let us address people so that together we can work to demonstrate that there is another democratic power, that there is the power that humankind has, and that power can spark a new conscience to itself, produce new governments and new leaders. If life manages to triumph over its very extinction, it won't be the global oligarchy that's governing the world. That oligarchy will be defeated to allow for the building of a global democracy. A new story is about to begin. Thank you for your kind attention. I thank, on behalf of the General Assembly, the President of the Republic of Colombia. The